Hi, my name is Johnny and welcome to the smartphone video. So nowadays it's very rare to go out and see someone without a phone in their hand or in their pocket, and this just shows how indispensable these devices have become in today's world. But from how far do these smartphones come from? How did we go from those large and bulky items to items we can't live without today? Understanding the evolution is important. It gives us an idea of today's technology that is taking the market by storm and what's to come. So, what's the definition of a smartphone?
So I suppose that you all already know what a smartphone is, but what is it exactly? So it's a mobile phone that performs many of the functions of a computer, typically having a touchscreen interface, internet access, and an operating system capable of running downloaded apps.
Okay, so therefore a regular phone is this.
A wired mobile whose only function is to call and enter a certain number.
And a smartphone is that.
A portable mobile capable of multiple tasks such as phone calls, messages, internet, music, camera, applications,
Just to name a few. Before there were only phones, they were connected to cables and we couldn't see them anywhere.
We didn't have any smartphone yet. Those elements that made the phone smart didn't exist back then.
Then, this arrived. This is the first smartphone ever created. In 1992, IBM, a computer hardware company, released a phone that had more abilities than its precedings. It was known as
The Simon
Personal Communicator, but customers could only buy it 2 years later in 1994. It had multiple attributes that we use today like email, fax notes, a calendar, and applications that were known as features back in the day.
But the Simon didn't find as much success as it would hope for.
Or you could say it was ahead of its time and consumers didn't exactly jump on board. It was big and expensive, but at the price of $1,100, it was just right considering it came out in the mid-90s and it sold only 50,000 units and for only 6 months it was in the market.
That's how large it is, next to the Apple iPhone 4S. It had a small monochrome LCD screen, it measured 4.5 inches times 1.5 inches, and its battery lasted only 1 hour. Hey guys, so before I continue, I just want to show you a quick video of an old TV show about technology. So it's concerning about the Simon Personal Communicator, and it was released back in 1995 by the Computer Chronicles.
I'm in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel in San Francisco waiting to meet someone, and they're late and I've got work to do and I can't find AC or a phone line, but no problem. I am totally computer functional thanks to this Simon PDA from Bell South and IBM. It's a really interesting PDA built around this cellular phone. So with it I can get a page, I can check my email, I can send or receive faxes, I can make a phone call of course, and I can use it like a normal PDA. I can check my calendar, I can look up a phone number, even scratch a note to myself on this touch-sensitive screen, and it has a PCMCIA expansion slot here so I can add memory or peripherals. This is just one example of the really cool new mobile computing gadgets that are out there now. Today we'll show you the newest and the neatest portable computing devices on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Okay, now back to me. While the Simon wasn't really popular or familiar with everyone,
It lived fast and it died young, but it was still the first smartphone ever created and it hinted the start of something big and innovative. You could plug it into a regular phone jack and make calls via more reliable and less expensive landline systems. Then came the Blackberry. Buttons, buttons, buttons. In 2002, the company Research in Motion, today known as Blackberry, released the Blackberry 5810. It had a calendar, music, internet access, SMS messages, a full keyboard, advanced security and other things. But the next step of total smartphone was still in the development phase, and Blackberry primarily targeted business professionals. Mike Lozardis, founder of Rime and the Blackberry, wanted to introduce the first device that had both GPRS and 2G voice service capabilities to make a statement and to compete against the big smartphone companies at the time, like Nokia, Siemens, Motorola, Ericsson.
quickly for the ones who don't know what GPRS is, so GPRS, it stands for the General Packet Radio Service, and it represents the mobile data system behind 2G and some 3G, but it has no longer been in use since phones have started using 4G service. Now back to the 5810.
Rime rushed to get the 5810 on the market, and it was the first of a generation of devices marketed as phone with email capabilities. They kept releasing more and more devices, and they became the market leader in smartphones until the iPhone. Now before we talk about the iPhone, I'm sure a lot of you have iPhones and love iPhone. It's important to point out that in 2017, 10 years after the iPhone launch, BlackBerry hit 0% of shares on the market. Today, BlackBerry isn't as productive or popular as it was from its peak days 10 to 15 years ago. But BlackBerry still deserves our recognition for its part in helping cell phones grow and developing new methods. Now for the part where everything started to get more innovative and powerful, the iPhone. The day when the first iPhone launched, 29th June of 2007, marked that big technology step up that revolutionized the smartphone. With the motto "Apple reinvents the phone," introduced by Steve Jobs. And the original iPhone wasn't the only revolutionary product released from Apple. You have the Macintosh in 1984 and the iPod in 2001. Okay, now let's go back to the 29th of June 2007 in San Francisco, where the iPhone is introduced.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years. Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And Apple has been, well, first of all, one's very fortunate if you get to work on just one of these in your career. Apple's been very fortunate. It's been able to introduce a few of these into the world.
The three features introducing the iPhone that revolutionized the smartphone industry were an internet communicator, a mobile phone, and a widescreen iPod with touch controls.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. 3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device, and we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
You can hear how crazy and loud the crowd was back in the day when hearing about all those capabilities coming to the smartphones. Today, having access to a mobile phone, music, internet, a camera, touch interfaces in one single device is totally normal, and it's the very least you can get. Okay, so basically what Steve Jobs and Apple did is to facilitate the use of the smartphone by doing it faster and smoother. By doing that, they didn't include any keyboard on the phone to use touch interfaces or multi-touch instead. So basically, touch interfaces is, you touch, you move with your finger. I think I better let Steve Jobs explain.
Let me talk about a category of things. The most advanced phones are called smartphones. And the problem is that they're not so smart and they're not so easy to use. But smartphones are definitely a little smarter, but they actually are harder to use. They're really complicated. What we want to do is make a leapfrog product that is way smarter than any mobile device has ever been and super easy to use. This is what iPhone is. Here's 4 smartphones, right? Motorola Q, the Blackberry, Palm Treo, Nokia E62, the usual suspects. And what's wrong with their user interfaces? Well, the problem with them is really sort of in the bottom 40 there. It's this stuff right here. They all have these keyboards that are there whether you need them or not to be there. So how are we going to take this to a mobile device? Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen. We're going to use the best pointing device in the world. We're going to use a pointing device that we're all born with. We're born with 10 of them. We're going to use our fingers. We're going to touch this with our fingers. And we have invented a new technology called multi-touch. which is phenomenal. We've been very lucky to have brought a few revolutionary user interfaces to the market in our time. First was the mouse. The second was the click wheel. And now we're going to bring multi-touch to the market. And each of these revolutionary user interfaces has made possible a revolutionary product. The Mac, the iPod, and now the iPhone.
So there we have it, Steve Jobs announcing the first iPhone in such a funny and exciting way that got everyone on their feet. So as you said, the iPhone is what started the multi-touch features that then other companies followed, without forgetting the internet browser and the mobile phone built within. The iPhone came with a wide LCD screen that was perfect for video.
The battery was a huge improvement from the IBM Simon.
And became the best consumer-friendly device in the world for daily use. Millions of apps arrived on the iPhone, and at this moment began the period where the users' count of smartphones extended and everyone started using their smartphone daily, utilizing all those different elements of quality like mobile phone, internet browser, camera, music, and so much more. Before long, the smartphone market exploded, and in 2015, 84% of Americans said they couldn't go a day without their phone. So we've talked about the Simon and the world's first smartphone, then we talked about the Blackberry, and finally the launch of the original iPhone. Now let's fast forward to what you have today, the modern smartphone. Smartphones of these days continue to grow smarter and more powerful ever since 2007, and the differences and the improvements from 13 years ago and now are huge. Displays are about double the pixels. You have way more memory and storage. You can use multiple applications at the same time thanks to a high number of gigabytes of RAM. The battery lasts for days instead of hours or minutes. Music and video streaming are easy, as well as online gaming. Cameras are HD, and filming in 8K is on its way into most smartphones. And there's so much more that improved. Plus, we have personal assistants like Siri and voice search. In short, everything is more advanced. We don't need to buy separate cameras or MP3 players anymore. Who knows, in the future you might not need laptop or computers. And this just shows how those indispensable devices are evolving. And with iOS and Android, the two primary operating systems, smartphones will continue to grow constantly. You know, it's hard to predict what will come next, but most likely we're gonna see something like the flip phones get renovated, you know, the Galaxy Fold of the Samsung, and features like 5G speed and 8K camera resolution are gonna be done more efficiently in the near future. I think this decade of the 20s will be very interesting to see what will arrive. So, you know, keep an eye on what's happening with technology, because it's about to get even better. But if you actually made it this far in the video, I appreciate it, because I took some effort to do this, and you watching my whole video, it means a lot to me. And I hope that in the next few months I can post more and more videos, because, you know, we need to get this YouTube thing going. I think YouTube is a great platform for us, especially young people, to actually show what we've got, show what we want to do, what we want to talk about, and it helps us interact with people online. And it's always nice to see that so many people are coming into a community together to actually watch someone's video. Yeah, thank you. So, see you soon.